Hello there and welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I am Tabitha Brown. This is my husband.
I'm Chance. What's up?
And today we have special guests. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Ima Carnelus.
That's all you gonna say?
Yeah, we just doing it now.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And I am Marcus Carnelus.
They are the Carnelus. Is that better?
Yes.
You want a little extra?
Okay, now we're gonna do extras.
You want to do a little extra?
Yeah, well.
Okay.
We're gonna get to y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My turn was coming up.
Just throw him the law.
Right.
You're supposed to throw him the law.
It's all right. We're going to get to it, though.
Okay.
Hold it in your
My
spirit.
wife laid it up.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to tell me.
After we do the intro.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bring the beat in. Fridays. Wait. Why are you not singing?
I'm listening to the hi-hats. I'm like, when my man came here, he came here for real. I was like, all right, man. I was gonna come in on the second layer.
Okay, all right.
We had this.
Okay. I didn't know you
This might be something to go down in history right here. My man
I
hit
said,
it.
well, why we ain't
Hold on, wait a minute. Just go with it.
You want to let the beat flow for a little bit?
Hold up.
You can start it off.
And he had the time, all right?
You can start it off. All right.
He caught y'all guard.
Chance started. All right.
Let me make sure it's on. You
Okay,
ready?
we're gonna do it again. But
All right.
do what you was doing. But let's sing. All right, I gotta say, bring the beat in. Fridays with Tab and Chance. Bump. Fridays with Tab and Chance.
Hey! That's what I'm talking about. Now listen. Look.
You see what you've been
Hey,
missing out
look.
on,
You
baby?
got that?
Yes.
I need you to do that every time. That's what I
See
need.
what happens when you let people in?
Oh, really?
You've been missing out on opportunity to be great. You've just been doing regular beats.
See, she just said before we went on
I'm just
how
saying.
people was upset about me and
that's-
asking me why.
But that's people. We talking about you.
I know. That was my
The
decision.
original was a classic, though.
It is a classic.
No, the original is done. You doing that right?
That's gonna be on
All right, we're gonna loop that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we're gonna loop it.
All right, we're gonna loop that. That was it.
All right.
I'm going with the original.
Now you signed. Hold up. You had him sign the paperwork with everything that he did. Everything that he came with.
That's ours.
Stage.
That's ours.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Nah, that was dope.
Okay, so let's get into it. So our special guest, first of all, we have known each other for like 18 years, I think.
Yes, from our acting
From acting,
days.
yeah, from acting class. We met in acting class, and then she was already going to Faithful Central, I think. And when I joined Faithful Central and went on down to the front, she came out there like, girl, I'm right here by your side.
sure did.
And I forever remember that. And then y'all have since like got married. She was single then back then. It was just, you know.
That's a whole nother story.
We could have been, but you know.
Yes.
I was
So
like,
let's
you gotta find Jesus.
Right. Let's get into it with you.
Oh, that's a whole nother story.
Okay, right. We're gonna get into all the things, but also T-shirts that we be wearing that y'all be loving. There's one that, and we look. Well, they were long sleeves, so that we ain't gonna have them on today. And I was like, did they bring some today? But they got them on.
Yes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got them on.
Yeah, we got
they have
some.
an amazing apparel company, Brand Avenue, right? Mm-hmm. And we have worn their shirts. Just recently, we wore the one that I love is like 90s R&B.
Oh, yes.
The other one that went viral was I'm in love with her, and then mine was I'm her. Mm-hmm. And so they have so many of the Mrs. and Mr. Like all the things when you get ready to get married or you just want to celebrate each other.
Yeah.
They have an amazing apparel company. Mm-hmm. But you reached out to me.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta add something.
Okay, go ahead.
And it ain't the lame stuff. I know what y'all thinking.
No, this is the good stuff.
The marriage T-shirts and all of that.
Yeah.
Cause I'm very particular about that. All the men out there, go check it out. Don't be like, I ain't dressing like my old lady. They
It's
did
really
a
good
good
stuff.
job
The
of
one he
making
got,
it.
right?
Yeah. Like I don't need to be out here with all that on.
Yeah.
I think
They
that
do
was like
look
one of
good.
my main things when I created the designs was that thin line between this is corny.
Yeah.
And this is dope and fly.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's
It's
talk
a
about
thin
it.
line.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
thin
it really
line.
is.
It's a
Yes.
thin line. It's a thin line.
I think for men,
Yeah.
it is a very, very
Right,
thin
right,
line to where you like, hey, hold up.
Yeah.
Listen, I know you want me to confess my love,
Right,
but ain't no
right.
need for me to do it every day, all
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
And we ain't got to be wearing the same, looking like a music group.
Right.
But if we do want to look like one,
I'm gonna wear they stuff because it look
and then
cool.
me and you gonna sing.
Yeah, I mean, we gonna, baby, I'm with it. I just need to make sure that I look good in it. So I'm glad that you was intentional.
No,
Yeah.
it's a thin line.
So
Very
let's before we get into why you reached out, let's talk about your company, like how it got started, what made y'all decide to do that, and before you get into it, like let's tell your love story because that plays a role into your brand. So how did y'all meet?
So we were friends. Don't give me that look. We were friends through his mom and his sister through Faithful Central. So his mom was like the choir mom of the kids. Like, you sit in the choir and direct the kids or whatever. But I had never met him. So I was growing up with his family and I think I was like 20 and his sister was like, oh, I have a brother. He does music. And I was, doing acting and music. So we kind of met on that. And I'm like, oh, let's work together.
Okay.
Wait, were you?
Yes, I was. At first, I was.
I was trying to work with you.
I didn't know that. I was like, let's do music. And he's like, let's go on a date. And I was like, no.
Yeah, I'm working with I had all the beats.
Yes, come on.
Pick whatever you want.
And so we went on a date. And I was like, you're too nice for me. And I don't even know what that means. Like, you're too nice. I was like,
That's that bull right there.
I know. Like, what was I thinking?
Baby, you would say that because you ain't got the niceness. You rough around the edges.
But that's why I ain't nice. Because all the good girls be
was
like,
nice though.
yeah.
You were nice.
I probably was just nice to you.
Well,
He
and
tried.
see, I was just
But
like,
nothing's wrong with being nice.
yeah, he was nice, and also he had a lot going for himself. But I said, you need to also find Jesus, because I was like super like,
But his
I'm a
mama
church
was the
girl.
what?
Right, but he was not going to church.
Oh, got it. And that's your business.
And that's his business. So I said, when you
But I love the Lord.
he did love the Lord, but I just was kind of like, I was like super head on, like I'm a church girl and da-da-da, which also didn't make sense because I'm like, you're too nice. Like, this that young 20 delusion. Yeah. He came to my 21st birthday.
Which you didn't know.
I didn't remember until years later. We were talking and I said, you were at my 21st birthday. He said, I brought you a gift. I said, I did not remember.
We found the
photo and he was sitting at the end
like,
watching. And it's one of those things where you think back and like, you were there all the time and I just was not in that space to like really
to see him.
Yeah, not until 2013 on Instagram.
First, we need to go more into what you need to find Jesus in it, because that's very important.
Yeah,
because you was right.
Yeah, so I think you were working at the casino, and you were like, "Oh, I got this car, I got this great job, I did this."
Expedition Eddie Bauer.
Yeah,
you was picture me rolling.
Yeah,
she was like, tell him about. I said, "What God do? I'm working. I'm buying. This is me."
I did it.
Like,
yeah.
No, you
I
ain't
said,
ready.
"No, God did that for you," and I was like,
"You ain't ready for me."
I said,
Yeah. Come on.
She said, "You not ready for me."
I said, "You got it." I said, "We could be cool and we could be friends, but like, and then craziness happened. I went and got in a whole crazy situation. He went and got in a whole crazy situation, but we stayed friends through social media. So he would always tell me happy birthday. I would always tell him happy birthday. But like looking back,
there was nothing.
He was flirting, and I didn't know he was flirting.
He already told you.
I was always feeling.
When we went back and looked at messages, I was like, "Oh, you was dropping hints," and I did not.
It was going over.
It was going over my head.
19th,
He would be like,
year.
"Oh, I see you doing your thing. You doing good. You working." I was like, "Yeah, God is good." Just not even thinking
driving it back home.
Driving it back home. So 2013 was his birthday. I think he posted like that he had some spice bomb, and I was like, "Oh, I have flower bomb." Like, and I made like some corny joke. We were both single. And so we were dialoguing through comments, and then he was like, "Let me DM you because I don't want people, in our business." And literally, like,
and it was over after.
It was just like
we talked till like 6 a.m.
Yeah, we exchanged phone numbers, and I was like,
and y'all were still in the same city during this time. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was like in the Valley, he was in LA, and we agreed to like see each other, and I still was kind of just like, I don't know what this is, but it could be something. And I remember he came over and we watched was it Dreamgirls? Played Uno and had wine. And I had never did that really, so I was just like, okay, this is different. But I kind of like it.
I like
but
a good Uno game.
She was mad at me though because I didn't have no plans.
Yeah, he didn't have a plan.
I don't know if that's a man thing, but we ain't had no plans.
Oh. Be careful.
Oh. Is it our thing?
Y'all go ahead, bro. Tell your story, but get off that.
She said, what we doing? I'm like, she said, you know what? Just come over.
Look, but look though. I'm gonna say this.
Oh, right.
Did you have fun?
I did.
You enjoyed it?
Right. That's all that matters.
It led to a beautiful marriage?
It did.
Right? You see what I'm talking about? So that man.
Right.
So y'all, Uno, you like wine?
Right.
You like wine, right? You got your own wine. Go ahead. You like Uno too, don't you? To me, that's the plan. Sometimes the plan.
You brought the
You did. We're going to go ahead and write that on. You did. So that's what we're going to say. So the plan sometimes is no plan.
I like that sometimes.
And then that is what.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the plan is no plan.
No plan.
Yeah,
We being my plan is you. My plan is you.
He's a little bit better. Yeah, he's better, but I'm the project manager of the
most times we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
carrying
go
the
ahead, finish telling your story.
But yeah, so
The you need to establish your relationship with God is I didn't understand it at that moment, but I'm glad that that was a requirement for her because I get it now.
Yeah.
And it's lacking in a lot of relationships that we've seen fail.
Yes.
And having
that as our foundation.
I'm actually glad that she didn't waver on her expectations and what she wanted. So yeah.
And how you end up how we ended up really together, because also he had a child in that time that we were friends, and I was like, I don't want to date a guy with children.
That's what I
That
said
sounds
too.
familiar.
I was like, I'm so scared. I know how this could be. But he was like it was just like he was swooning me. And I'm like, I can't, I just like him.
Full court press.
Yeah. And I said, what is your intentions with me? And he was like, I just want your heart's attention. I said,
Come on with the work. Come on.
And he said, I prayed for you. And I was like, all those things,
I had a delivery job. I pulled over in a parking stall. She said something that made me feel like, oh, she might like me. I pulled over. I prayed, literally, in the work truck. I said, God, I'm in there. Don't mess up. Please let this work.
yeah.
Let me ask you, what was it
About her?
Yep. What was it about her that made you have that kind of intention?
That's interesting because I feel like when we very, very first went on that date, I probably was too young to, I don't know if I would have felt the same way then, like I did at that point. But I think I was just like, I knew how incredible she was, just as a woman. This is it. I've experienced these things like other women, and I've seen things that I was like, this is a whole different type right here, and the type that you don't let go.
Holding you accountable.
Yeah.
Being that
and willing to teach you something.
Right.
Without judgment.
But just talented, pretty.
Yes.
Just all the things. What else I'm gonna do? Where else I'm gonna go? What else is there to do?
That's what I want.
This is it right here. And like I said, I prayed and was like,
so how
please.
long did y'all date?
We dated a year. On our 1-year anniversary, we went to Javier's in Newport Beach, and I was like,
Fancy.
he had a whole, now he did plan a date. We went to the winery, we went to the beach. I was like, oh, this is the day. Because I had made it clear also, I don't want to be dating for years.
I was about to ask that question.
I was like, if we're going to do this.
She was like, no, we're not.
The intention is to get married.
I was like, the intention is to get married, yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
And I remember my friend was like, because I was dating, and I was like, Lord, I really want to get married. I really want to have a family. And I said, you're going to have to drop him in front of me. Like, you're going to have to make it so clear that this is who you... And my friend was like, you probably already know him. And I said, I don't know nobody. I said, I don't know nobody. And literally like...
Meanwhile, my man in the work truck over here like
right, like...
Meanwhile, he in the pictures at her birthday.
Yes.
He's
been there the whole time.
Hey, look.
I did.
Just
Right.
open your eyes.
Like, God was like, listen, girl, he is here. And literally, my eyes... It was almost like... You know how people say, like, you get like a new vision.
Yeah.
And literally I just saw differently. And I'm like, he is the one. And so on our 1 year anniversary, I thought he was going to propose and he did not. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening?
And I had the ring too.
He had the ring.
I had the
Oh,
ring.
you had it with
No,
you.
I had it. Yeah. It just never felt like
The moment.
this was the moment. And I don't know, I probably was a little scared. This is my first time. Like, I don't know. And yeah, she was mad the whole ride home.
Well,
It
you
was
know
a
what?
perfect ambiance.
Because he started saying,
Yeah.
so
So it
when
was-
we
it was
get
real nice.
married, like, what kind of photographer do you want? And I'm like, why is he asking me these things? So I kind of was just like bummed out. But the next day we went to Magic Mountain. And right in front of the photographers, when you walk in, he proposed. Oh, so we had the
I
picture.
planned that one. I was ready for
We
that.
had the picture
Very
of him,
good.
like, you know, from the, you know, them doing it. And I was like, totally caught off guard.
Which is good because you were expecting it.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
said, this guy.
So
and
I
I was
like,
just so happy.
Picture? I was like, yeah, get this.
Right.
Yeah, so you see me at my little Toms on.
At Magic
That's
Mountain.
dope.
So we got married 8 months later.
Okay.
And
And what year is this?
2015.
2015,
Yeah, so
okay.
we were pretty quick. And I ended up pregnant at 9 weeks before our wedding, which was not the plan. And we were just like, things are moving so fast. And we knew we wanted to have kids and all this stuff. But 9 weeks, I was like in and out of urgent care, literally leading up to the wedding because I was like so sick. And we got married April. I was due in November.
April what?
April 11th. 2015.
2015.
Yeah, April 11th.
4/11/2015.
Yeah. So April 11th, we were due in November and we had Jaxson in July. So we went from...
Did y'all catch that? Because this is this is
Yes.
where it takes a turn. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the reason that, first of all, they're a phenomenal couple and have a beautiful story in business. But when she reached out to me, she was like, have you ever thought about having a couple on who has like special needs children or children with disabilities or, you know, how life changes for marriage once that happens. And I was like, that's an excellent topic.
Yeah.
Once you have kids and
Yeah, once you have kids in general,
Yeah.
life and marriage changes. But now you add another layer of responsibility.
Yeah.
And so if you heard her correctly, she said they were due in November. But Jaxson came in July, making her 5 months pregnant.
Yeah, 5.5. I was on the cusp, 22 weeks.
And he survived.
And he survived.
Okay, do you understand? Like, I remember watching everything unfold and I was praying so hard every day. I was like, Lord, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I need you to do this for her.
Yes.
Because I knew one other person back in North Carolina who had a baby at the 5 month mark and the baby did survive. So I was like, I know it's possible.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like how it all happened and everything.
So, like I said, I was sick. I had hyperemesis gravidarum, which is pretty much you just are vomiting all day long. Can't lose in weight, can't eat. I couldn't drink water.
And she was already this big.
Right. I was really little. And so he was healthy, but my body just was like fighting this pregnancy. And it was my first time being pregnant. So we were like excited and our family, and we found out he was a boy, first grandson. And it was just one of those scary things when I went into preterm labor at 21 weeks. I thought that I was having like contractions, and then come to find out I had a UTI. They gave me antibiotics, but my cervix started dilating, and I'm like, wait, it's way too soon. Like, I don't even know what this means. They sent me to the hospital, gave me a lot of medicine, and they stopped preterm labor. They're like, okay, so the first goal is to get to 24 weeks because if most people don't know, 24 weeks is technically viability. They will not touch you. They will not admit you if you go into labor before 24 weeks. I told my doctor, I said, I need us to do everything we can to get me at least to 24 weeks. And he kind of was just like, you know, he was conservative, but he also was like, I'm a little bit of a rebel, so I'm gonna just kind of do what y'all want me to do. But he also was like, it's not gonna be good. Like, if you go in before 24 weeks, like, he might not survive. And I said, well, we gonna start praying. We gonna get everybody to pray to keep me pregnant. It was like Operation Keep Baby Baking. And I was on.
That was after we went to triage though, right?
Yeah, we went to triage the first time.
But that was important because I remember when they was like, you about to have a baby.
Yeah, so I'm
getting emotional.
I was on bed rest. They gave me progesterone, and he was working. I was actually working too. I had a great career. I was a production manager at the Forum. It was like my dream job, and all of a sudden, I'm newlywed, so I'm like, all of a sudden, I have to sit down. I'm like, okay, God, what this mean? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was on bed rest for like a week. And I kept having these pains and stuff. And they were like, oh, just lay down. Oh, just take a warm bath. Oh, just like not really taking me serious. And I told my husband, I said, something is not right. So it was like midnight. We went back to Little Company Mary, and they took me in triage. And the lady, I'll never forget her face. She said, you're 8.2 centimeters dilated. I said,
girl.
I said, wait. And that's when I lost it. Because I've been calm. I've been like, just try to stay calm. I lost it. He lost it. He went into the hallway,
Lord.
collapsed, like crying.
I was just like, I called my dad. I was crying on the floor. Because I just was like, I think, you envision and you start preparing for a full-term baby and all things. And now I'm like, okay, 22 weeks. What my baby look like right now?
Right.
Like, is everything even fully there? Like, and I was just like, I never cried like that before.
Yeah, so she said 8.2 centimeters, and I was just like, okay, God, what is happening? What am I supposed to do? Because ultimately, it's like my decision to.
But your water hadn't broken.
My water hadn't broken. She came back. She said, I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. You were 2.8 centimeters. Right.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, because now we're trying to contact our families in the middle of the night. We're just like, do we have a name for him? I don't even know. I was just like.
I think we had a name.
I said, he's about to be born. So she's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, we can work with 2.8. We can kind of keep you, monitor, give you some medicine. So they drugged me up, slowed down labor, and they were like, okay, we're going to try to get you to 24. So I'm at 22. I got to 22 and 6 in the hospital, on bed rest, not doing nothing but eating and just carrying the baby. And my labor started in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. The bag was bulging out of me. And I made a joke to the nurse. I said, I was half asleep. I was getting up. She said, don't get up. I said, why, the baby gonna fall out? She said, he could. She looked and he was there. And I was just like, oh my God, like.
And you were there?
He was, that was the night you went home, and everything had been fine. So I said, go home, get some rest. I sent the whole family home. I said, tomorrow
it always happened that way.
I said, I'm gonna have some PF chains. My in-laws gonna bring me some. Oh, they actually had brought me some PF chains that night. And they were like, are you sure you're supposed to be eating spicy
That's
food?
what did it.
I said, I'm okay. Y'all bring me some more tomorrow. And then so I go into labor again, and I can't get a hold of nobody. It's 4 a.m. I'm like, everybody sleep, because I've had a good week. Yeah. So I'm like, everybody go rest.
We're gonna make it to 25.
Yes.
Make it to 26.
Right.
And so finally, we, the room rushed with people, and they were able to slow things down. And I ended up being in labor for 10 hours.
My God.
And we kind of just were not really knowing, like, what do we do? What's gonna happen? Because I'm still above 24. And our doctor was like, okay, guys.
Under 24.
Under 24. He's like, you guys got some decisions to make. He sat down, he's like, you guys are young, you're newlyweds. You can try again later. I said, no.
What kind of?
Listen.
Yeah.
It's a baby, though.
It's a baby. He's a baby.
And like, there's still a heartbeat.
He said, you guys are still young. You guys can, always, try again. But he was like, the baby might live, but it won't live. He was like, you understand what I'm saying? And he was like, so they basically offer, like they call it comfort care. So the baby will come out and you just kind of hold the baby, and obviously with no resuscitation, the baby will eventually pass. So it was that, or we can try to do all we can.
And the NICU doctors were coming in with so cold. I mean, like no compassion. Just like I'm just a person on a paper, and I'm listening, and they're telling me, oh, if he's born, he has a 20% chance of survival. And this time I'm like praying. I'm like, Lord, I need you to tell me yes.
My
I'm gonna need some
this stuff makes me. It bothers me. And I'm really asking the question: what is the point in sharing that information? Because the baby has got to come out.
Yeah.
And you gotta try to preserve life.
Not if it's too young. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
They give you the option before the baby
hospitals-
comes.
Some hospitals are not. They said they're
intubate.
not prepared to intubate. But even still, it's
But ain't all hospitals under the same provisions? Like, and this is real. Like, there's legal obligations for life because once something is born, and I'm going off the little bit of law that I know. Like that's life, right?
Yeah.
Your ethical, what you went to school for, says that you have to preserve life,
But only if this just happened to the little girl that used to do my hair, and she was the exact same amount, and they didn't give her the option, right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it's real.
This is
Didn't give what option?
the option to fight for the babies.
Yeah.
They just said it's too.
So there's a man.
Months,
I'm asking these questions because look, there's a man just like me.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You got to be specific. When you say fight for the life,
So
the doctors are not going to do everything that they can so that baby can live.
Right.
That's what I understand.
If she was 7 months, they would.
Right.
But I forget what the week is. I
It's
feel like it's
24.
24 weeks.
Yeah.
Anything before that is considered almost like a miscarriage.
Right.
So there's no reason to try to.
So for us, fighting meant I want all the medicine to protect his brain, to protect his lungs, give me the steroids, give me everything to go into him to give him a chance that if he does come out, and when he comes out, y'all resuscitate him.
But this is also because she said her doctor was a rebel. Right. So he was like, I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
We're gonna
so
fight
this
for
ain't the
it.
same person? I thought y'all was saying
it is.
It is the same.
Information.
Yeah, he was giving it because legally he is obligated to say these things.
Okay.
But also he's like, if y'all want me to do it, I'll do it. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then the NICU team is the one who's like giving you the statistics, like
What's a NICU?
the neonatal
care.
intensive care unit.
Okay. All right. Hey, look.
Sorry, we should tell. Yeah. And because we didn't. We only knew what we saw on TV.
Yeah.
So to start living it, they were giving us pamphlets, and he might not have, all of his limbs, and he might not walk, he might not talk, he might not be able to see. And I'm hearing all these things, and I know my husband was like, well, babe, for a minute, he was kind of like.
For a minute, I was scared.
Yeah.
I play basketball, so 20% ain't good.
Yeah, I know.
So I was like, maybe we should try again.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I'm just being honest. Like for like half a day, I was like maybe he right. Like
because you're thinking about quality of life.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking about. I understand that.
I'm like maybe he right. Like
Which is why that is a rule.
we try again. And try again.
Yeah,
maybe.
and for me, he kind of was like, you the OG, you make the decision. And I said, I felt like I had heard a sermon actually like prior to, while I was pregnant, and I didn't get it when I heard it, but then it like came back to me as I was in the hospital, and the pastor was talking about, you're gonna witness a in-person miracle over the next 4 or 5 months. And at the time, I'm like, okay, yeah, miracle, and he's like, don't discard that miracle. And so when the doctor said that and he had his doubts, I said, God told me my son's gonna live. And I said, I don't care what happens to me, save my son. I said, I don't care. If he has to take me for him to have a chance, that's just what it is.
Chills on your face.
I mean, because it's one of those things when you talk about, it's like, to sacrifice my life for my son, and just getting people to believe. Like I was like telling them like, no, it's okay. Like they willed me back to because everything was going so fast. 10 hours of labor, and at that point they were like, okay, his heart rate is starting to decelerate, so we gotta possibly give you a C-section. And I wasn't even prepared for that. I'm like, I'm preparing for a baby shower. Like, now I'm about to be a mom. And like, you guys are telling me all these things. They gave me the epidural and his heart rate got jeopardized and they had to rush me. I mean, we're like talking about, he's running behind me in the gurney, putting the stuff on. And I'm on the operating table and the lady's about to like prepare me. And she's like, are you sure you want to do this? I said, save my son. Like, I don't care what happens to me. Save my son. I don't like.
I gotta ask this question because I had to have. It wasn't like this. But I had to have a conversation with a nurse that when she told you that.
Wait, which part?
That save your son, not her. What did you say? What was your thinking on that? Because I remember. Yeah. And I'm gonna share it afterwards. I'm gonna share it. I remember what I thought.
In hindsight, it almost felt like omnipresent. Like it was just like, this is what we're supposed to do. And I was like, I always tell her, make the OG call sometime. Make the OG call. You make the call, and I'm supporting it, and it's gonna work out.
So,
and to the point, I was so confident that, like, you know, I've known families. Obviously, we've known families being in that. Now that we're on that side of parenting, that didn't have the courage to do this. But once it got rolling, I started blogging. I didn't think that this content is gonna be not worth it. I was like, this is the start of what. So
I didn't have the capacity.
Like everything, like I filmed all that stuff. Like it was on camera.
So we had a scare, and they pulled me into the hallway and had a conversation with me. Tabs, like, everything was off the charts. Her stress level was up, and they asked me kind of in a nonchalant way, which I didn't appreciate. This is a request about choosing her or Quest.
That's if they have to save one of us.
And
who do you want?
You're the first person that I've heard and been able to talk to that's had a similar situation. And they didn't ask her. And I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad she wasn't a part of the conversation. Yeah. And it was all left up to me. And I just remember how afraid I felt. And I've been wanting a son my entire life. Yeah. And have prayed for my son. Right. But in that moment, I had a real moment with God and said that if you take him, it's not meant for me to have him. You didn't want me to have him. I need my wife. Right. I can't be so selfish with my heart's desires, the things that I wanted, that I disregard my daughters, that I disregard all the people that are connected to my wife. And I also believe that she still had purpose. Like, so I asked him because nobody tells you this when you get married. When you're standing up there, when you get married,
when you get pregnant.
nobody is like saying, and you don't think about this kind of stuff when you saying I do or you dropping down to a knee. You don't envision that this is a part of marriage. So there's no way for you to prepare for it. So I'm thankful that you shared it, and I'm thankful that you said what you said.
I'm glad that they never asked me that, and they probably should have and could have in that situation, but I probably would have made the same decision you made, which was
I'm glad because she tried.
She saved my wife.
But I think my wife would have said what you said, and you just would have had to wake up being mad at me.
Right. Yeah.
Because like you just said, you just made a comment, something suggesting that you didn't have the capacity. Yeah. Right. Your heart is that. Now I'm not saying you're wrong by any means. Choice. That's your choice. Yeah. But when you married, those kind of things,
it's heavy.
And to think now, like right now, that could have been a possibility with my little boy who I adore. Yeah. Like right now, if somebody said, choose your life or his, I'm running through the door so he can stay here. Yeah. Right? Like, hey, he gonna live. Right. I'm good. I did enough. I want him to live. But it's so complex, and when you're talking about marriage and nobody being able to tell you that this is what your marriage is, this is a story of your marriage and the things you're going to encounter. I think it's a beautiful thing, but it's also something that I'm thankful that we're able to capture in front of the camera. I was just curious to hear where you were mentally, because I remember it.
It was tough.
It was tough.
Yeah. And no one taught, like you said, no one prepared us. Like we had I feel like a fairy tale, everything is going, and it was like,
yeah, it was 0 to 60.
So now they're about to cut you.
They're about to cut me.
She asked you if you were sure.
I said, I'm absolutely sure. Save my son. I don't care what happens to me. So they're like trying to put me kind of calm under because, it's chaotic. I mean, there's people everywhere. And he was, like I said, he was fine. Once they took him out, they had to resuscitate him 3 times. And I didn't know that. I'm just laid out.
You were seeing this?
He was seeing this. And I told him, I just kind of
videoed all of this.
Yeah, he videoed it. And I just kind of was like, go with him. And my doctor, because my doctor had left, because he was like, we've been here for 10 hours. And so by the time he got back, they were trying to stitch me up. And he was just like, what happened? Like, he kind of said, what happened? I said, I don't know what happened. And he's like trying to keep me lucid because I was losing so much blood. And, when you're going through that, you don't think, like, I think I became a mom in that moment, like truly became a mom, like sacrificed my life for him. And I said, just go check on him, check on Jaxson. And he went, we have the video of him racing down the hall and and he was just,
how much did he weigh?
So tiny. 1 pound, 2.9 ounces.
2.9 ounces.
That's still fairly big for that.
Yes.
For 22.
And he had all his fingers, all his toes. He was beautiful.
He said, I told y'all.
Hello, full head of hair, okay?
Shut up.
I was just blown away because we had never seen a baby that little.
Yeah, I remember I was kind of like, it was almost like, okay, what does a 22-week baby look like?
Yeah.
I'm about to see.
You got to pull a picture out of this shit so
Oh,
there's
my
no
God.
chance.
I wish you did.
Yeah, and
it was just kind of like, you don't
was
know what you're
afraid
about
to
to see. It was like, and I just started recording, and they just, doop, 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 and all you hear is beeps, and about 7, 8 people.
Yes.
Everybody's doing.
And he wasn't breathing on his own, so obviously he had the ventilator, and his eyes were still fused shut. So he had eyes, but they were just.
Not
so
ready
we
to open
literally watched him
Finish
develop,
developing.
and I remember his skin.
Pigment,
Yes.
like you still can almost like see through him.
Yeah. So if you touched him, like it would kind of like bounce
He was
off.
bruised.
Yeah, he was bruised. It was just that first, and this is something that like I want to deal with healthcare providers in some capacity in some way, but just the bedside manner of the things. Like I literally had him and went into recovery, and a few hours later they came, okay, time to pump. And I was like, hold on, like what? Is my baby okay? Like
Nobody is talking.
no, they're just like, here's the machine, start pumping for milk
She
for
had
him.
him, but between
Right.
being stitched back up, it was a long period of time before she actually saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for her, it's like he's out, but it's like, what's going on?
And
So
I didn't know
I'm
that.
with the baby, and she's just kind of like,
Yeah,
Not
I
even
think
know.
my mom was there. His parents had come, and everyone was, just checking. Everyone's nervous because we're just like, he's actually here now. Like now the next part of the journey begins, and I was really scared to get close to him because the doctors kept saying, well, the first 24 hours are so crucial. He might not make it. He might not make it. I mean, they like continuously tell you these things.
I don't do good with that.
No, and so you're fighting what you believe and fighting what they're telling you, and
bedside manners. That's a thing like
real
that we
thing.
encountered. That is just like people don't have it.
They don't
They
have
lose.
it.
They get
Professionals.
desensitized.
Yeah, they do.
And they lose compassion.
They really do.
What was it that you know her name? Like I said,
Yeah, what did the doctor say?
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
2 P's.
Yes.
Right. What did she say
I
that
love
when
that
we
about
sat in that room with her about before he got the PDA?
Oh, I think she just was like, she kind of was just like, okay, guys, like you guys need to make some decisions. And this,
She
it's
said
been
something
like
that
10
was like-
days, so he's
Thriving.
every day. We're like, yes, every day. You're proving them wrong. He's like taking in my milk and all these things. And I think she just was kind of like, she was very cold
It was
and
real
very
cold.
just
I
like,
forgot what she said.
just rude. Like even though he made 10 days, but like, okay, so what are we
that'd be the
almost like, what are we
vibes.
doing? And
like
I'm like,
I mean,
Where were you?
Little Company Mary, Torrance.
Yeah.
Yes, Little Company Mary Torrance.
She's not there no more though.
Oh yeah, she went. Yeah, I think she went to maybe Kaiser because we ended up running into her one day with Jaxson, and she was just
Right. Like, look. Now look.
Oh my God!
See what we did?
Did you see our miracle?
Okay.
And literally,
You was doubting us.
literally, our son had to be transferred to Long Beach Children's for a PDA. He had a heart murmur, and it was like, you got to have this done ASAP, or he's not going to make it. So I had to have my 13-day-old baby boy over to a surgeon and trust that he was going to stitch my baby up. And he did, and it was one of those things because, like I said, we were newlyweds, and we're like, what is happening? Like, I mean, we did premarital counseling, which I think was so good for us, but it brought us closer because we talked to a lot of couples who it doesn't bring them closer, it drives them apart. But for us, that was like, we're in this. Like, this is our son. Like, we have to fight for him. We have to fight against the doctors, and just
thank God we're on the same page.
and we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, we was like Jordan Penn.
I mean, the support, like, he was so supportive, like, between me trying to pump. And I actually went back to work while my son was in the NICU, child. Yes, I did.
So when did you go? How many?
So he ended up being there
Didn't they kind of like force you to
They
do
kind of
that?
forced me, yeah. I was there. He was in the NICU for 4 months.
Okay.
So two of those months I was off recovering from a C-section, and right at the 8-week mark, my job was like, okay, hello, are you coming back? And I was like, and I was carrying the insurance.
Oh.
So it's like, I got a NICU baby.
Yeah.
I got it.
Like, y'all couldn't give you the extra 4 weeks, so they do 12.
Nope, they gave me 8. I went back. I'm in running concerts in between, going to pump milk, going to the NICU. I would go to the NICU.
And that was the church that asked you to come back?
It was Madison Square Garden. They owned the farm at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like going to the NICU in the morning, go to work for 12 hours sometimes, leave the concert, go back to the NICU. I'm pumping in between. He's going, like, we're literally just for 2 months. And he was the baby that was there the longest at that time. And I kept saying, God, how's he gonna come home? Because he was on oxygen.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the ventilator, but he was on, like, the
Oxygen.
nose cannula. And I remember the doctor saying, well, he's gonna be on that for like 2 years. I said, don't you speak that over my baby. I said, he's not gonna be on that for 2 years. I said, y'all ain't seen, he's a miracle. Like, everything, every day was a miracle. Like, the fact that he's breathing, the fact that I remember when he started pooping, like, without assistance, we're like, yes, he can suck, swallow, and breathe. Yes.
The first time.
All of that is a miracle.
He was in Long Beach. The first time we actually heard him cry.
Oh my
Because
God,
he
yes.
couldn't cry.
He couldn't.
Like, he didn't. Like,
Because of the-
And
Yep,
being
and the
intubated.
So it's like, wow. It's like the little things you take for granted.
Yeah.
That part, before he could leave the NICU, they was like, he has to be able to eat, swallow, and breathe.
Yeah, suck, swallow, and
Like,
breathe.
that's the thing that we do. We take for granted.
Yep.
Like, eating, breathing, and swallowing at the same time.
Because we would feed him the bottle and then he would, like, desat, so his oxygen would drop. So we had to teach him, and we were very hands-on. We want to
Learn everything.
Yeah, and for me, the doctors were so negative, like, just so negative. And it was just like testing my faith. I mean, I would say, if you got something negative to say, let's say it outside of his room, because I don't want that energy around him. Everything is peaceful. We're, playing gospel music. We're talking to him. We're praying for him. And I said, if you don't believe what we believe, like, I just need you to do your job. Like, if you don't want to believe with us, that's fine. But, like, don't look at us crazy because we believe that he's going to make it out of here. And y'all, he came home the day before his due date.
Wow.
Which everybody was like, what? Yes.
Wow.
The day before he was due, he came home. So it was right before Thanksgiving. And we were just...
14th, November, right?
November 14th, yeah. And he was like 5 pounds maybe at the time.
Yeah, 5.5.
5.5 pounds, yep.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
amazing. I mean, I still get chills when I look at him. I'm just like, you are a walking miracle. Like, you're doing things that, even though, like, so when he was about 18 months, they diagnosed him as developmentally delayed, which we knew.
Which is a normal
Which is
thing
normal,
with
right.
preemies.
He'll catch up. But he was doing really well. Healthy, doing walking. We started speech therapy for him, physical therapy. And it wasn't until he was about 3 that they kind of started, like, his teachers would be like, he he might be more than developmentally delayed, but it was just kind of like, we need to give him another title. And I was like, no, let's not just give him another title. Like, let's let him grow. Because number one, he's a black boy. And I know how they do our sons. And I'm like,
Speak on it, please.
You're not just going to label my son. You're not just going to
put a title
and just throw him in this category. I said, we're giving him all the support he needs. If he needs more support, we'll make sure he has more support, whatever it is.
She don't play about her son.
I don't play with my son.
She don't play.
I know that's right.
I don't play about my baby.
Yeah,
I'm like, no. So it took some time for us to kind of explore. We had a black doctor, a pediatrician. She was out in Gardena, and she, just said, maybe we should look and see if there's something deeper here. But she explained it in a way that wasn't like, let's just label him. Let's give him more support. Because ultimately that's what we want. Everybody wants him to thrive and be great.
That's right.
And so we started having that conversation about getting him tested for autism. And I think I was kind of nervous because I'm like, well, what now? Now that's going to really like change our life. And we can't do this and we can't do that. And I just had to like calm down. And he's kind of, I think you're more reserved in a way. He's the calmer one. And I'll be like, get excited, get upset with me, fight with me. And but
that's how y'all balance each other out.
Balances each other out. Yeah. Like I go to war and he kind of is like.
I mean, I still go to war. It's just different.
It's a different way. Yeah. And so in 2020, we started the testing for him, and he was diagnosed with autism. And for me, it was hard. I think we talk a lot about the expectations that we have, like especially, I always check in with my husband because I'm like, he's your son.
Yeah.
We talked about having a boy, like, oh, he's gonna play basketball and go to the league and do all these things. And when you get a different diagnosis, you have to just kind of shift your expectations. It's not that.
How did that diagnosis affect you?
It didn't really affect me because I feel like I kind of just was preparing for, whatever comes. Because we were just talking about how, as a father having a son, you're like, oh yeah, you're gonna play all these sports, you're gonna do what I was doing, you're gonna do what I did, and knowing I've kind of just understood that might not be his life, and I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I just want to constantly see him just develop, and it's little small milestones that are bigger than what playing basketball, whatever it could even be. So I'm fine with it.
A miracle is way better than basketball.
Yeah. And he's, I appreciate that he wasn't didn't discard our son. I think he loves him deeper. Because it's like we have to protect him. Like the world is so cruel, and we're just like, we have a different love for him. It is challenging, yes. Yeah. There are a lot of challenging moments, but I think our story, the story of our children, has made us stronger as a couple. Like we didn't we didn't let it break us. That wasn't even a question of
I think. And now that he's older, because he's 9 years old now.
Blackie trying to get in on this conversation.
I think the things that, as far as our marriage, where she get to fussing at me, is more so probably how much I cater to all the things that he wants.
Yeah.
So if he wakes up in the middle of the night and he be like, "Daddy, I don't just lay with me." I'll lay with him because I'm like, and she like, you didn't come in the bed last night.
Yeah. We've had to definitely. It's impacted our marriage in ways that are just different.
It's just different.
Sometimes we don't sleep in bed together, and it sucks because we like each other, but we know it's a season, and we know that we're doing our best to support him. So children with autism sometimes have sleep issues, and he'll go to sleep, but then he wakes up in the middle of the night, every night. And he's been doing that for years now, actually since our daughter was born. And so every night.
Literally
every night.
She's 5.
And how old is Jaxson now?
9.
9.
Ever since she was born, I don't think he's slept through the night since she's been born. 5 years.
You was probably going to ask the same thing because when you have such a traumatic experience, with your first.
Yeah.
How did you decide to have another
a second.
baby? Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I was going to ask that question.
Yeah.
Mainly because that experience I had with Tab.
Yeah.
Just like we having them.
Right, you done?
I was like, yeah.
All right.
So she asked me to go get a vasectomy. And to everybody's surprise, I think it was a lot of people who were surprised that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
That played a major role.
Right.
It was like, yeah, I'm cool. I don't ever want to
Yeah.
be in that position again. I don't ever want to have.
So we are in that club together.
Okay.
We are in that club together.
You done?
Yes.
Well, I got the
Yeah,
vasectomy.
you going
Yeah.
clear it on out. Okay.
I think more men need to talk about that too.
Yes.
Like that it's okay.
Yeah.
So I think you really wanted a second one.
I did. At first, I was like, oh, after Jaxson, after going through the trauma, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. And then I think he was about 2.5, and I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I feel like we should just try again. And we did. I was on birth control and I got off and we had a miscarriage. And I was like, really? Okay. maybe. I remember telling God, I was like, maybe the miracles have run out. Like, maybe we should just stop while we're in it. Like, you gave us Jaxson and we decided to try again. And we got pregnant and I was able to carry her full term, which was like a blessing. I had
Just skipping over the
What?
parts that
What
that show how an amazing woman you are.
Go ahead.
And
Come on,
strong.
Marcus.
Who, me?
Tell us, Marcus, what she
You
forget.
see, how she over that?
Yeah.
I tell people that.
I was
like,
thinking-
my wife, man.
I was thinking when she
shot.
said she had the way she just brushed over the miscarriage
Right.
and then you brave enough to do it again. Like, I'm like, there's gotta be some. There's gotta be some meat
Yeah.
still on that bone.
No, she just glossed over that part.
Yeah.
So, you get pregnant with Cameron. You didn't even go into. You had to get shots every week.
I did. Yeah, it was
shot.
a journey to carry her. Like,
Was it in the thigh? No, it was in
the back of my butt and my arm.
Oh, steroids?
Progesterone.
Yeah.
To carry her full term. Yeah.
She had an amazing OBGYN
Yes.
that
Black
basically,
doctor.
because you were high risk to have another
Miscarriage and preterm.
preterm labor, they had to do preventative stuff to make sure that you could carry
Yes.
full term.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I was giving the clip notes, but it was
There's the certain things on
I-
that clip
I
notes.
know.
Once
Right.
you done been through it, you just be like, all right.
All right.
right. And that's
I don't even want. I do it, but I don't want to get a shot
I know.
every week.
Yeah, I carried her
Every week.
I'm not there.
And
I'm not
I was in her office literally
You had
every
to
week.
drive to go get it. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you was at home and
Every week I was in the doctor's. So like 2018, it was my job was to carry Cameron and get her here safely. And Jaxson was a toddler, so I'm pregnant with a toddler, and it was a lot. And after
Don't gloss over that.
you're right. Thank you.
That's
It was a lot. It was a lot. Yes, it was a lot.
you've put your body through a lot.
I have.
So you got shots every week to keep everything.
Shots, checks,
Right.
ultrasounds. I had every time I felt something was off, I was like, Dr. Crable. She's like, come on in. Let's just make sure. And she
Right.
was checking me. She was so attentive.
Because you also got high anxiety now.
Yes, because I'm like, I don't want to have another miscarriage, and I don't want to have a preterm baby.
That's right.
Like, we don't want to do this again. And she was a woman of faith. We would pray. She would calm my nerves. I could just call her, and she was like, our goal is to get you to at least 39. And so we made a scheduled C-section, and it was a total different birthing experience. Beautiful, like so beautiful to the point where I was like, now this I would do again, but also let's not do it again.
Yeah.
And so he had made the decision already to get a vasectomy.
Yeah,
when she was
but
3
we
weeks.
said that we was gonna wait till she was born because
We were scared.
we didn't want to make it where we can't have no more kids
Right.
until we know that this one's like.
Because there's so much trauma that goes into like
Yeah.
when you have a preemie and then you try again, like just every day you're just like, please just stay put. Please stay put. And like I said, I had anxiety and like feeling anything. I'm like, oh my God, is she? Oh my God. So
Yeah, so 3 weeks after
3 weeks
Cameron
after she was born.
I went and got the vasectomy.
And we were on one accord about it. And
I tell you what I said, you using up all the health benefits. Let me get some of that. Using up all the benefits. Let me get some.
yes.
I love it.
Shoot.
Yeah, and it was a total different, like I said, the birthing experience was beautiful. Just carrying her till she was full term, seeing her and just like the way that she is with Jaxson, it's beautiful. Like I'm so grateful
When
for my
I see
kids.
them, first of all, they are y'all.
Yes, twins.
In reverse. Like Jaxson is you.
Yes.
And she is, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But I love their relationship. I just think it's a beautiful
and
thing to see.
She's so understanding of just his journey, because, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
And so no two children who have autism are on the same spectrum. You know what I mean? And for us, it's just like I said, adjusting our expectations. Like, he might not do the same things at the same time as his peers, but he's thriving. He's healthy. He's such a joy. Like, and people look at me crazy when I say it's a blessing what we've been through. They're like, but like, did he? And I'm like, he didn't suffer. To me, I don't feel like he suffered. Like, he still is living. Like, we're giving him a good life. We're giving him the support he needs. And I'm like, I actually think it's kind of like saved our marriage in a way. I don't know. Because I don't know what else would have been our thing. You know what I'm saying?
I guess you could say it does add a layer of like, ain't no breaking up.
Ain't no breaking up. Ain't no breaking up.
Yeah.
Ain't no breaking up.
Yeah.
I don't even tell you this, but I'll say it. But I do have a lot of deep thoughts sometimes when I think of like him, like almost like his story. I'm like, and I don't help me with this. Like you didn't deserve this, son. Like I wish you could, like. And we try not to use normal, right?
Yeah.
So I'll quote it, but sometimes I'll be like, I know this is your story, son, but like, I didn't wish this on you, kind of thing. I don't know how to articulate it, but just kind of like, I just be like, that's my son, though.
Yeah.
That's my son.
Yeah, and I had to go through that, the guilt, like feeling guilty, like my body did this to you. And I've wrestled with that a lot, just feeling like I couldn't protect you like I should have as a mom, but also understand that there's grace on the other side of that and that God is still good despite him having his challenges. It's hard. It is hard, but I'm like, but God is still good. Like you have to think of it that way. And I remember one of his doctors saying, his diagnosis doesn't define who he is. That's right. Once you guys found out, he's still who he is. Like, it's just on paper, and he's gonna have more support. And that actually helped me because I'm like, once we got the diagnosis, I was like, is it gonna change who? And I'm like, we have to shift things. We're lock in step with how we parent him, but he's still Jaxson.
Just referencing what she said earlier, I understand it, but people go their whole life and they don't get to witness a miracle.
Yeah.
Like, it's. I always think about my mother-in-law and what I'm thankful for. I was her favorite. She loved on me in a way that nobody, even my own mom, wasn't able to do. Yeah. But the thing that I'm thankful for, I hate that she had to leave here when she did and how she did. I was upset with God because of how she left here. But in hindsight, the thing that I'm thankful for and how I found peace with it was that he allowed me to actually see a miracle through her. Like, so I know God is real. Yeah. I wasn't raised in the church. I don't know any of the Bible. I don't know any of that. I didn't come from that kind of background. But I know God is real because of her and how she left here. The miracle, the things that most people will look at me when I'm telling them, and I can look in their eyes and say, you think I'm lying.
Right.
Or you've checked out because your brain won't allow you to go there.
Yeah.
In your son's story, that's what I hear.
Right.
Like you just showed me a picture of your son with his little arm is in your ring. The fact that all those people came in and with a pessimistic mind frame, right? all those people were trying to get you to bow out. The fact that you did it, yet again, attempted to do it 2 additional times. That to me is that's a level of faith and drive and honor to the miracle of God. That's what I hear.
Right.
That's what I would advise you to focus on.
No, that's a good word because I never thought of it that way.
No, I know. I can tell you right now. I know so many people that have literally said to me, "I've never seen a miracle chance." And when they say it, I just be like, "Man, I wish I could really double down and get you to really feel this story." I'm gonna tell you about my mother-in-law. I'm gonna tell you about what she said. I'm gonna tell you about, because I want them to feel it.
Right.
It's such a good thing. And then even in bad moments where I'm like, I'm not in a good headspace. You know what I mean? Like I have those moments where it's like, I'm concerned about my son or I'm concerned about something. I can tap into that and be like, Chance, you know he there.
Right.
Like, you remember this boy? Like, it's like talking to myself like, hey, and it'll put chills in my body and I'll be like, all right.
Right.
Okay, I'm good.
Right.
I've seen a miracle.
Yeah, that's right.
Even with my mom, even with the people who I love and who partook in raising me. Sometimes I can turn them around by reminding them, like, Ma, you know, I never listen, this really happened. Like, I witnessed this, Ma. Like, I witnessed this, Unc. I witnessed this, bruh.
Yeah.
And I can help people with those stories, and they know because it's coming from me, the person who wasn't raised in that, person who, I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna give it to you. Like, no, that ain't true. These things are true.
Yes.
You know it, you lived it.
Yeah.
Like, the way you just, like he said, you just grazed over here, I had a miscarriage. And like that, that's to me, I'm like, yo, she's telling the truth. And it's not because she's not telling it to be celebrated. Like, she's like, this is my story, but I'm with him, like, remember that and put some respect on it. Because there's people who, like me, and people who are in our circle who need to hear that because they've never heard it, they've never seen it, and they're never gonna go to church. They're never gonna go and do the things that you have done to build your faith. They're gonna hear these stories, and because of who you standing 10 toes down on your story, and you there, they're gonna be like, all right, I'm motivated enough to do right today or in this moment. So I'm with you, bro. I understand your thoughts, but just remember that. Tap into that. Like, man, you are a miracle too.
Yes.
Like, through your son, you are a miracle. Your marriage is a miracle. Newlyweds going into that. Like,
You still stand.
like we know. Like, these things that don't last.
It's crazy. Sometimes you need people to tell you that. Because I never thought of it like, oh yeah, we're a miracle.
Right.
Like
and you sing songs and you know, I was telling someone the other day, like, my mom used to always be walking through the house, laying and cutting, praying and oil, and I would be like, Mom, you were so deep. And she would just be like, one day you'll learn. And I'm like, I get it now. Like, I get it because I've experienced it for myself. Like, I can stand on it and be like, I know who God is for myself. Now I remember singing a song by Tasha Cobbs, "Make Me a Miracle, Make Me a Miracle, and I'm like, oh, you did. Okay. And I think that's important for what you said is like being able to tap back into that, because we have our days where we're like, this is hard, or God, how am I going to do this, or whatever, and I can look back and say, but He did it already, and like we have a physical mile marker to say, if He did this, He can do anything. And He gave us the grace to be our kids' parents. So I'm like, He wouldn't have done this if He didn't trust us.
Yes.
So because He trusts us, I'm like,
That's what I was about to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's what my mother-in-law used to say. And I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand it because of how it looked, how devastating it looked.
Yeah.
And she was like, He trusted me with this.
That's right.
That's
He
deep.
trusted me with
this
this.
is
And
literally-
I couldn't comprehend it. I was just like, I don't like it.
Right. But and I was like in here trying to hold this together. So but God just put it back inside of me. He like brought it back to me. And we put it together, Tab. The day that It's the joy. So when we started this, I said we met many years ago. But when I joined the church, you came down. That day, Paula White was, she was the guest speaker. And she said something that day that has always stayed with me and that I speak all the time. She said that she believes, and I believe, that before we are brought here, we have a conversation with God, right? And he shows us the life he has planned for us. And he asks us, will you do this for me? And we say yes. And then he takes us and he forms us and places us into the womb of man. And then we come and we live out that life, which is why when we leave here, he says, job well done, my good and faithful servant. And so you agreed on this life. You agreed on this life, right? Jaxson also agreed on his assignment.
Right.
But God has trusted y'all to be his parents. Do you understand? Yeah. So you don't have to feel bad. He agreed on his assignment. Yeah. Because he knew that God trusted y'all to take care of him. It's such, I can only imagine what God thinks of y'all. Man. The kind of trust that he has for y'all to take care, and how much Jaxson thought of you when he said, yes, God, I want them to be my parents. Yeah. I will take form of man and help them with their journey. But because of his life, you have a whole different life.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Completely.
You've been exposed to things you have never been exposed to. Do you understand the will that there was? The business that comes from it. Every single thing has purpose.
Yes.
The books that will come.
Yes.
The documentaries, all the things that will help millions of people in the world. Because God trusted y'all. Because Jaxson trusted y'all. Why you do this to her?
She know.
And then today, we get to witness the miracle that God trusted in y'all. Oh, man. What a blessing.
Yes.
What a joy to be trusted in such a way.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to share that, and I just thought it was my honor that God brought that back. Right. Get yourself and fan yourself. But I just thought how amazing that God brought that back to me. That very day was the day that he deposited that inside of me when she said that. And I've said it on millions of stages. I've talked about it. I prayed on that for so long for God to reveal it to me for myself. And going through it with my mama, as he said, witnessing my mother's life and how she left was hard for many people. It was very hard, but then understanding that he trusted her with that. When she told me, I asked my mama, because she died of ALS, she could not move anything but her eyes when she left. She could only blink, could barely move her lips to read them. And prior to her passing, she passed in September, and around maybe like May or so, I had did like a video of trying to record her. And the one question I asked her, if you could go back, if you could change anything in your life and not get sick, would you change it? And she said no. I said, you wouldn't change, and you are paralyzed and you're just trapped in your body. You can't walk, you can't talk, you can't eat, you can't use the bathroom. She couldn't swallow at the end. All the things that you said, she could no longer do. She could still think and she could blink. And she said, I wouldn't change it because God trusted me with this. And it changed my whole outlook. To know that, like, to be trusted with with trauma. Because he knows what you can do with it. Right? He knew that you would pull your camera out. and document a miracle.
Yeah.
Because you could tell people about it,
Right.
but people wouldn't believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you can actually show them
Yeah.
as you tell your story,
Yeah.
as you continue to tell your story.
Yeah.
So I want you all to always be encouraged when times get tough, when diagnosis gets scary, when days aren't the best, when hearts are heavy.
Yeah.
Remember you were trusted with it. And that y'all are a miracle.
Yep.
That's right. This is
Man, you need some fan?
I'm just so grateful that y'all came and shared. I know we gotta, wrap it up. But y'all, please know that they have, so y'all, you have a YouTube.
Yes, I do have a YouTube and Instagram. I'm Ima Carnelus on Instagram and Ima Carnelus on YouTube.
But you have these videos.
Yeah, we have
she
videos.
has pictures.
Yes.
She tells her stories. She blogs about it. Like, there's so much information out there, but you get to witness a miracle.
Yes.
You get
And
to see that.
I wrote a book about our journey. And one day, so I self-published it.
Yes.
And one of my prayers actually is that one day it'll be picked up by a big publisher.
Is it available on Amazon?
It's available on Amazon. Yes.
Well, there you are.
Buy the
It
book.
don't get no bigger than Amazon.
Yes,
Let me tell you
yes.
that. Y'all go buy the book.
Yes.
Tell them the name of the book.
It's called Saving My Son, 119 Days of Miracles Behind the NICU Doors.
Miracles.
Yes.
There it
And
is.
it is on Amazon.
But if they want to
Yes.
find you,
They can find me on Instagram, Ima Carnelus, IMACARNELUS.
We'll put it in the
And
description.
I'm on that on TikTok and YouTube as well. And then
You all right over there?
I'm sorry. I did not expect to do this.
Yes, it's all right. You are alive.
yes.
I have 2 channels on Instagram. Brand Ave Clothing is where the shirts that
Right.
Tab mentioned. And Love Mark B is my personal page. So.
Yes, very good. So y'all please go and support them. Buy their t-shirts, buy her
Yes,
books.
yes.
Follow them on all their social. Subscribe on YouTube. Tell somebody about their story. Not just somebody who has the same experience. Yes, do that, but just someone who needs to be encouraged that miracles do still happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a living testimony.
Yes.
Right? And seeing Jaxson, every time I see, if I'm scrolling and a picture of him pop up, I'm filled with joy because I'm like, look at what God has done.
Yes.
And He is showing us those things are real in real time. And y'all get to witness that every day.
Yes.
So thank y'all
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
Thank you for
us.
having us.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
You got anything else, babe, before we go?
Nah.
Any last words to any couples or women who may be experiencing premature births and just autism diagnosis as a family, as a couple? Any encouraging words you would like to give or leave them with?
I think, it's interesting because I think it's a whole different dynamic with men and husbands and in this realm here. Because I've had men actually message me because they don't know how to, we go into it, we don't know. We don't know how to deal. We don't know how can we be supportive. So I would just say be supportive with the woman in your life that is going through that. Be supportive. And like, don't be afraid to ask for help, seek help, reach out to other men that have gone through it. But I think the main thing is being supportive of your wife or your girlfriend or that special person in your life, because the strength that you show can also strengthen them.
Yeah. And I would also say, without his support, I probably wouldn't have felt empowered. He gave me that space to feel like I could speak up for myself and for our baby and for our family. And so for women, I always tell them, speak up. Don't be afraid to express your concerns, ask the questions, and seek support outside of, your, like, if you have, your family, your church, your friends. And for me, it helps sharing, and that helped me feel less alone. And I know it helps others feel less alone. So don't be afraid, to talk about it. I know it's scary. I know that you might not have all the answers, but I notice when you do talk about it, you'll notice that you're not alone.
That's what I was gonna say. Really, because once we got I say into being premature parents, the parents of a premature child. You're like, it's a lot of us in this.
You find your community.
Right.
Yeah.
And before we got into it, you're ignorant to it. You don't even think about it. You just think it's full-term babies.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know it even exists until it happens to you.
Right.
Same with my mom. I didn't know nothing about ALS.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes it's until it strikes you, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Because we all living in our own world.
Yep.
So
Yep.
but we all in this world together.
Yep.
So absolutely.
Can we do the song to end? Can we do the song? Come on. We got it.
You're trying to end the
So
song.
these tears can dry up.
Okay. Well, listen, y'all. Thank y'all again. Make sure y'all follow them, support them. Until the next time, honey, y'all go about your business, all right? Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. We love y'all. God bless y'all. And listen, keep believing in miracles because they are real.
Yes.
Yes.
So go ahead and do the song. Come on.
Okay.
Friday.
You gotta bring it in.
Oh, I gotta bring the beat in too. I thought we was just gonna ease it out.
I just can't just start dropping.
Bring the beat in for the outro. Fridays with Tab and Chance. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Fridays with Tab and Chance.
Hey, she organized.
Thank you for watching this episode, honey. And if you liked it, go ahead and click right here for more of those episodes.
And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to do so.
Very good.